A new COVID-19 vaccine site is open across from USC's campus. We hear from students who got vaccinated and find out what this means for South LA.
One California university is giving students a good reason to stay put during spring break.
And freshman phenom Evan Mobley makes history, the prestigious Hoops Awards that are now his. Next on Annenberg TV News.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
The city of Los Angeles opened a vaccination site today, just steps from USC. Good evening, I'm Noah Camras reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Cambri guest reporting from outside Wallace Annenberg Hall for the first time in almost a year. USC students who are eligible for the vaccine are thrilled about the site's proximity to campus.
I live in the village, and so it's super convenient for me to come here. This is the closest site available.
The USC vaccine site allows both walk-up and drive-through appointments. The city is also partnering with Uber to offer free rides to the site for South LA residents to increase vaccine access to those hit hardest by the pandemic. The walk-up site is at the southeast corner of Exposition and Figueroa, at the parking garage across from campus. The drive-up entrance is on Flower Street.
I mean, of course, I was really happy to get it. It's surreal and it makes you feel relieved to have it. The more people that have it, the sooner things will reopen and it's better for everyone, like less contagious, but like still, we should still be thankful and aware that like we're in a particularly like privileged position.
I was waiting desperately for the day that I would be able to get a vaccine, like whether that was eligible through education or just as a student. This definitely makes me feel a lot more inclined and better for like the sake of the public safety of the South LA community to know that I'm able to be vaccinated and that more people who hope to go on campus can be.
This is not necessarily for the university, it's for the communities of South Central LA and South LA so that those people that are the most vulnerable can receive vaccinations. We certainly did a lot of outreach and communication prior to the appointments being available. And we did see when we did outreach a spike in appointments in our most challenged neighborhoods. Our neighborhood mobile teams are vaccinating people, upwards of 80% people of color and people who've always historically been challenged with limited access to healthcare.
Officials expect to vaccinate nearly 5,000 people per day at this location, making this the second largest vaccination site operated by the city of LA.
It's so cool that there is this vaccination site so close to USC and they're doing 5,000 a day. And it's also really cool, Cambri, that you're on campus right now. Like you said, and the first time in nearly a year, you're outside of Wallace Annenberg Hall, you're filming the news. So just tell us, I mean, how is it? What's it like being back?
It is absolutely wonderful. I'm in the very appropriately named Studio T, T as in tent. So we're in a very indoor-outdoor location. But really, it's giving me a lot of feelings similar to being back inside the regular media center. I have audio, I have lights, I have tech assistants. It's honestly just a great feeling to be back on campus. And of course, taking all precautions necessary. Did my wellness check this morning. But even walking through and seeing Annenberg Hall and seeing the media center again brought back a lot of really good memories. So I'm really thankful that we're having even limited campus activities open back up again.
Yeah, I'm signed up to go next week to do what you're doing and looking at you outside. And I saw, some of the tech guys, it makes me so excited to go back and be able to do that again and get like a little taste of what it was like to be in the media center just like a year ago. Students at UC Davis could get $75 gift cards to local businesses if they agree to stay in town during the school spring break. This is a part of a city campus partnership. There are 4 categories of gift cards students can apply for: Get Active, Get Artsy, Let's Stay In, and Do It Yourself. Each is linked to a different local store where the gift card can be used. We spoke to a UC Davis senior who applied for one.
The applying is really simple. You just go to a Google Doc form, you fill out all the information, and they ask you oh, how safe are you being during COVID? What are your spring break plans and stuff like that? Just making sure you're being safe during that week. I guess the way that they would make sure you're not lying is because you have to pick it up during spring break. You're not traveling anywhere. So that's their incentive.
UC Davis students who are interested have until 5 p.m. tomorrow to apply for the money.
Hate crimes have increased against people of Asian descent during COVID-19. Today, the LA County Board of Supervisors voted to increase funding for a campaign called LA versus Hate. AAPI community leaders say they've experienced racial violence.
I was asked to go back to my country. I'm an American citizen. This is my country. This is my home. And just me walking around, somebody just unprovoked, yelling at me to go back to your country was just very shocking and very traumatic experience for me.
One day I had a dead cat put on my front door, and I cannot fathom how it would be for others who actually were hurt or died. The PI community always will back all our brothers and sisters, our siblings in the fight. And so we are asking that you come with us and stand up for us, because sometimes our voices aren't loud enough.
To report instances of bias or discrimination, contact the Asian Americans Advancing Justice at 888-349-9695 or dial 211.
No handshaking or hugs and no gathering in the State House. Governor Gavin Newsom delivers his annual State of the State address tonight at the Dodger Stadium. I'm Emily Bonilla reporting from Altadena. This may be the most important speech of his political career. So far, nearly 2 million Californians have signed a recall petition. The deadline of collecting signatures is March 17th. We spoke to a political strategist about tonight's speech and whether he thinks the recall will succeed.
Newsom understandably realizes that giving the speech now, as vaccinations begin to be distributed, as the opening of California begins to progress, he's in a position to deliver a much more optimistic message than he could have back in January. He might not want to stand up with a mission accomplished banner behind him, but he can, with some credibility, begin to talk about how we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Given the likely calendar, the amount of time that's going to pass before the vote actually takes place could end up working very much in Newsom's favor.
Newsom says he wants to focus on California's, quote, resiliency during the pandemic and applauds those who are making a difference.
There is more reaction to the royals' revelations about race and Meghan Markle's mental health. Buckingham Palace issued a statement saying it would privately address the issues.
The palace expressed sympathy for the couple, saying, quote, "The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately." A USC professor of social work says the Duchess's experience isn't all that uncommon.
Her experience is really an example of what we are all feeling at this time when we're talking about race and sex and gender. It's just the real pressure of what oppression looks like, you know, if you are not a part of the group of people that receive resources or to find their lives worthy in a certain way.
This morning, Piers Morgan resigned from his anchor position at Good Morning Britain after storming off the show and denying Meghan Markle's confession about her mental health.
A new study by USC Annenberg's Inclusion Initiative shows that there are limited opportunities for women singers, songwriters, and producers. According to the study, there are very few women in the music industry. Less than 22% are artists, and less than 13% are songwriters. And only 2.6% of the producers are female.
I think that women in the music definitely are in a lot stronger of a position now than they have been in the past. So I think that that is something to celebrate, but at the same time, there's a lot further that we have to go in terms of making our voices heard, in terms of negotiating contracts so that everyone is paid properly. The cultural impact that we are having does not match the societal respect that we get. And I think ultimately as an artist, my goal is to help that come together.
When it comes to the music industry, women of color have been the most underrepresented, especially as producers. Only 9 out of more than 1,000 with producing credits are women of color. At the Grammys, more women are being nominated than ever before in the Song of the Year and Album of the Year categories. But the gains are still vastly unequal. Only about 1 in 8 Grammy nominees from 2013 to 2021 were women.
Baseball is finally back, but we're not talking about Major League Baseball's 2021 season. As Annenberg Media's Tony Quach reports, it's time for the kids to take the field.
With California lifting restrictions on youth sports, it's a whole new ballgame. Kids all across the state are returning to the diamond. And here in Roseme, it's time to play ball. After having their inaugural season shut down due to the pandemic, Rosemead Pony Baseball returns for their second season, but with new protocols in place. These include wearing a mask at all times, lining up and having their temperature checked before practice, maintaining social distancing, and more.
Players do not share equipment. They each have their own glove, their own bat, and their own helmet. The biggest challenge was for everybody to adhere to those protocols, but once everybody comes, it's not a problem.
Being back on the field not only improves the kids' physical health, but it's also a major boost to their mental health as well.
I was so happy. I knew we weren't gonna be the same that it was before, but anything to get back was gonna be so fun. It's so fun being out here with my friends and having the fields, and just, you can't get the same feeling doing that at home than you can out here.
Baseball practices during the pandemic may look different compared to before. For parents, seeing the joy and excitement in their kids' eyes makes it all worthwhile.
I really think that seeing the kids out on the fields brings that spark of life and a sense of normalcy back, even if it's just a sliver of normalcy, It's showing that we're taking a step in the right direction.
The coaches are as excited as the kids.
I think the best thing that I could take away from being out here at this time is the grind. The kids are working hard, they push each other.
For Jerry Rodriguez, it's more than just running a league. It's about bringing the community together.
This is a blessing to be able to be out here and for us to offer something to all the children out there. We provide something for the youth to get out and get some exercise and hopefully learn the game of baseball.
There are over 150 pony leagues across California. With new guidelines put in place, thousands of young ball players can finally dust off their equipment and hit the fields. For Annenberg Media, this is Tony Quach in Rosemead.
Evan Mobley. What else can you say, and what else is new? Evan Mobley was just announced as the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, and the Pac-12 Player of the Year. The last player to accomplish this feat, Los Angeles Lakers superstar and former Kentucky standout, Anthony Davis. Davis may have averaged more blocks and rebounds than Mobley, but Mobley bested him in both points and assists. One of their main differences revolves around Mobley's ability to hit the three ball. Davis may be a new age big man, but only shot 15% from downtown at the collegiate level, while Evan shot nearly double that. 7-footers used to be known for their dominating presence inside the paint, but Mobley is able to show off finesse, footwork, and shooting touch, along with his signature defense to dominate from anywhere on the court. All right, I have to bring in my co-anchor, Nathan Ackerman. Now, Nathan, after Evan Mobley's won these last 3 awards, he is just an absolute unicorn. He's unlike anything we've seen at USC, and he has put up a higher scoring average than DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic. I think that he has had the greatest Trojan career of all time. Nathan, do you think that Evan Mobley is the greatest Trojan of all time?
Yeah, I think if we're talking strictly about college careers, it's pretty hard to argue otherwise. I still think there's more that Evan Mobley can do to get to the next level. I think it's important for him to show that he can be aggressive against some of the bigger forwards when we get into the Pac-12 tournament in March Madness. But Skyler, what do you think Evan Mobley needs to do to elevate his game even further?
Absolutely. You bring up great points there. And to me, I think that all the skills are there for Evan. He's a phenomenal player. We just haven't seen that big time clutch moment yet. And I think that when he can get that clutch superstar moment and bring it all together in the fourth quarter of a big game, that's when USC will be dangerous in the Pac-12 tournament. Nathan, what do you have for us on Andy Enfield? Because he's also making some waves.
As if Mobley's clean sweep of the 3 Pac-12 awards wasn't enough for USC, Andy Enfield joined him on the honor roll by taking home Conference Coach of the Year. Enfield led USC to its best season since he took over the job in April of 2013. The Trojans are the number 2 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. It's tied for their highest seed since he took over as head coach.
It's a nice award to honor our entire coaching staff. The head coach is only as good as his assistant coaches and his players. Our coaching staff is just outstanding. It makes my job very easy, or easier, I should say. And so it's an honor for them, more so than me. Our job and our goal is to try to provide a basis and some stability here with sustained success. And I think our coaching staff and players have done a great job of that the last 6 years.
But the awards don't stop there. Redshirt senior guard Taj Edie rounded out the Trojans' Pac-12 honors by earning a spot on the all-conference second team. These accolades are sure to give the Trojans a confidence boost heading into the conference tournament this Thursday. That's all for sports. Now back to news.
We're starting a new series on ATVN highlighting women that inspire us. I'm Isabella Bright, here with the story of my great-grandmother, Mary Ramey. You could say my great-grandmother attended the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, except she wasn't a student. She cleaned student dorms for 30 years. Eventually, she became head of housekeeping. Students said this about her in a school newsletter. She works her staff hard, yet at the same time places those same expectations on herself. One day cleaning spills, the next helping residents with their concerns. She never stops. She has more energy and motivation than most entering college. My great-grandmother's hard work made it possible for my mother to attend the same university. She's now a science teacher. And I'm in graduate school. So grateful for the woman who never had a degree, but worked her fingers to the bone to make sure my mom and I have ours.
You know, Cambri, that is such a beautiful tribute that Isabella shared with us here about her great-grandmother.
Absolutely, and so perfect for this month as we really just reflect and celebrate all women in our lives and throughout history that have made such an impact.
Yeah, there are definitely some big ones that come to mind, like Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman on the Supreme Court, and of course, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who recently passed, but it's just very clear to see the impact she had, not only on politics, but just on all of our lives in general.
Absolutely. I think everyone loves RBG. RBG Queen, the woman you can never lose by throwing her in.
It's always good to mention her anytime you can.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for Annenberg TV News. Thank you so much for watching.
From everyone at Annenberg Media, have a great night.